Before you begin, view this entire video to familiarize yourself with the process. Installation of a Sub-Zero unit should only be done by a qualified installer. To ensure the safe and efficient installation of Sub-Zero equipment, please watch for the following types of highlighted information. Caution signals a situation where minor injury or product damage may occur if instructions are not followed. Warning states a hazard that may cause serious injury or death if precautions are not followed. The Sub-Zero built-in line offers the following design alternatives: stainless steel, overlay, flush inset, and framed. Measure the intended rough opening space so that it matches the specifications in the installation or design guide. Rough-in dimensions for framed, overlay, and stainless steel applications are the same. The rough opening for each of these units is shown. The width varies by model. Doors must be able to open to 90 degrees. For corner installations, use a filler to ensure doors can fully open. Also, leave enough clearance in front of the unit for full door swing. Flush inset applications allow decorative panels to be flush with surrounding cabinetry. To achieve the flush inset look, a cleat is added to both sides and top of the rough opening. The main frame of the unit will rest against these cleats. The opening extends forward for the overall flush inset depth, assuming the use of a 3/4-inch decorative panel. The width of the opening will vary depending on the model. Surrounding cabinets will have to be designed with this extra depth and width in mind. Verify the floor under the unit is level with the surrounding floor. If it is not level, you could experience problems with the installation. Two units may be placed side by side in a dual installation. Be sure to follow the specifications in the design guide for a dual installation. This application requires a dual installation accessory kit and opposing hinges. Dual flush inset applications require dual flush inset panels. Failure to properly specify these panels will cause panels to collide when opening or closing the doors. If the same hinge swing is desired, a custom filler strip must be installed to prevent door or panel interference. Side-by-side models cannot be installed next to each other with a dual installation kit, due to door interference. A dedicated circuit breaker and electrical supply is required. All built-in models come with a power supply cord and 3-prong grounding type plug that must be plugged into a 3-prong grounding wall receptacle. Follow the National Electrical Code and local code ordinances when installing the receptacle. A ground fault circuit interrupter is not recommended and may cause interruption of operation. Warning: do not use an extension cord or 2-prong adapter. Electrical ground is required. Do not remove the power supply cord ground prong. A qualified electrician must check the outlet to be sure that it is wired with the correct polarity, provides the appropriate power supply, and is properly grounded. The electrical location is shown. This location will be the same on all built-in models. All Sub-Zero built-in models with an automatic ice maker come equipped with a water filtration system. This system operates on the water pressure range shown. A reverse osmosis system can be used only if the required water pressure level is met at all times. In this application, it is best to bypass the water filtration system using a water filter bypass plug. This plug is available from your Sub-Zero dealer. Place an accessible shutoff valve between the water supply and the unit. Do not place the shutoff valve behind the unit. Do not use self-piercing valves. A saddle valve package is available from your Sub-Zero dealer. It is not recommended that the ice maker be connected to a softened water supply. All installations must meet local plumbing code requirements. Rough in the cold water supply line within the area shown. Allow for excess copper tubing for easy connection to the unit. Tape the water line to the floor so that it clears the roller base when positioning the unit. To prevent the unit from tipping forward, it must be secured with the anti-tip brackets shipped with the unit. Before installing the brackets, protect your eyes with safety glasses, especially when drilling into either wood or concrete. Warning: verify there are no electrical wires or plumbing in the area that the screws could penetrate. Warning: The unit could tip forward under certain load conditions. Failure to install both anti-tip brackets and extend the levelers to the floor could result in serious injury or death. Set the brackets in place and locate 2 wood studs. The brackets must be placed within the location shown. For flush inset applications, locate the brackets within the location shown. Mark the screw locations and drill pilot holes. Secure the brackets in place. Check to see that the screws penetrate through the flooring material into the wall studs or wall plate. Be sure that the screws hold tight. If the screws do not hit a wall stud or plate, secure the bracket to the wall using the parts shown. For concrete floor applications, use the concrete wedge anchors, screws, and washers provided. Drill pilot holes, then be sure the screws penetrate into the wall studs or wall plate. Be sure that the screws hold tight. Use a carbide drill bit, manufactured within ANSI specifications. Drill 3/8 inch diameter holes into the concrete, a minimum of 1 1/2 inch deep. Assemble the washer and nut flush with the end of the anchor to protect threads. Drive the anchor through the material to be fastened until the washer is flush with the surface material. Tighten both nuts 3 to 5 turns past hand tight, or to 25 foot-pounds of torque. Repeat steps with the second bracket. Anchors are not recommended for use in lightweight masonry materials, such as block or brick, or for use in new concrete that has not had time to cure. Before moving the unit into the home, verify the finished flooring is properly protected to prevent damage. Warning: secure the doors and drawers closed before moving the unit. Unpack and set aside the kick plate and drain pan. The grill assembly should be removed prior to moving the unit. Tilt the grill up, remove the 2 front mounting screws on either side, and loosen the 2 rear screws. Pull the grill forward and off the rear tabs. When moving the unit, position an appliance dolly at the side to prevent damage to finished surfaces. If the unit has been laid on its back or side, allow it to stand upright for a minimum of 24 hours before connecting the power. Shut off power to the electrical outlet at the circuit breaker. Retract the front leveling legs up using the edge of a flat blade screwdriver and turning in a counterclockwise motion. You will bring the front legs back down when the unit is in place. Plug the power supply cord into the outlet and roll the unit into position, making sure the cord does not cause interference. Verify that the anti-tip brackets are properly engaged. To reduce the possibility of the unit tipping forward, bring the front leveling legs down in contact with the floor once the unit is in position. Turn the legs clockwise and adjust the height. The rear height can be adjusted from the front of the base. To raise the unit, turn the hex bolt clockwise. Turn counterclockwise to lower it. If the unit is leveled properly, door or drawer adjustments are less likely to be necessary. Be sure to level the unit to the floor and not to surrounding cabinetry. Warning: shut power off at the circuit breaker before making waterline connection. Purge the waterline prior to final connection to the unit. For units with an ice maker, locate the quick connect water valve and PEX tubing on the bottom right-hand side of the unit. To connect the ice maker water line, attach the union fitting to the copper house water supply line. Pull the PEX tubing toward the supply line. Remove the cap. Then attach the tubing to the union with the nut. Tighten all connections. Recoil the excess tubing under the unit. Turn on the water supply and check for leaks. Make sure that the drain pan can be installed or removed without any waterline interference. The first few batches of ice produced should be discarded. Allow 24 hours for proper ice production. Reinstall the grill by placing it back on the catch tabs. Tighten the 2 back screws, then reinstall and tighten the 2 screws in front. Check for proper fit. Turn the power back on to the electrical outlet. Verify that the panels for your application match the dimensions listed in the panel specifications section of the design guide. Each unit provides a frame to slide the backer or framed panel into place. The weight of the panel assembly cannot exceed weight restrictions. If you are installing panels on a model with an ice and water dispenser, be sure to review the section titled Ice and Water Dispenser. Remove the door trim molding by inserting a flat screwdriver tip into the top corner slot. Pop out the trim molding. Then remove the screws and door frame. For over and under models, insert a screwdriver tip into the slot on either side of the trim molding that runs along the top of the drawer, and pop out the trim molding. Then remove the screws and frame. While the panel sizes differ for overlay and flush inset, the panel installation process is the same. The panel assembly consists of a backer panel, a spacer panel, and a decorative front panel. Install the handle hardware before inserting the panel. If you use screws with thick heads, you will need to countersink the screws into the backer panel before sliding the assembly into place. Large D-style pulls are recommended. Small one-piece knobs are not recommended. Slide the panel into the frame on the door. This will be a tight fit. You may need to slightly loosen the upper hinge screws to allow the panels to slide fully onto the doors. Once in place, retighten the upper hinge screws. Replace the frame end. Be sure the panel is inserted completely into the channel for proper fit and alignment. To reinstall the trim molding, insert it into the groove at the top of the door and work downward, snapping the trim molding into the clips on the frame. For the drawer on over and under models, start at one end and move towards the opposite end, snapping the trim molding into the clips on the frame. For flush inset panels, it's important to keep a 1/2 inch minimum reveal on all sides to ensure proper door opening and sufficient cooling of the unit. To remove the grill panel, pull out the bottom and tilt it upward. Remove the 2 front mounting screws on each side. With the grill held firmly, pull forward and remove the bottom grill frame. Slide the panel into position in the grill frame. Check for proper fit. Reattach the bottom frame by reinstalling the 4 screws. This is how the unit should look with the panels installed in an overlay application. This is how the unit should look with the panels installed in a flush inset application. The framed panel design option is available for all built-in overlay models. You must order framed handles and a framed grill insert from your Sub-Zero dealer. If the thickness of the custom framed panel is less than 1/4 inch, back it up with a sheet of shim material. If the panel is thicker than 1/4 inch, route an edge around the panel so it fits properly. You may have to route a recess or use sales accessory extended handles with some door panel designs to allow for finger clearance. This is particularly true if your unit has raised panels. Slide the panel into the frame. With the panel in position, attach the handles. Be sure the panel is inserted completely into the channel for proper fit and alignment. To reinstall the trim molding, insert the top of the molding into the grooves at the top of the door and work downward, snapping it into the clips on the handle. On an over and under model, start at one end and move towards the opposite end, snapping the trim into the clips on the handle. To install the grill panel insert, pull out the bottom of the grill and tilt upward. Remove the 2 front mounting screws on each side. With the grill held firmly, pull forward and remove the bottom frame. Slide the insert into position. Reattach the bottom frame by reinstalling the 4 screws. This is how the unit should look in a framed application.